Hey dudes, welcome to Coders Are Cool, where myself, Chris, tries to convince you guys that computer programmers are cool and also teach you some computer programming skills. So the goal of this tutorial is to take someone with basic computer knowledge and give them the skill sets to be able to build a website. So be able to learn HTML, CSS, some JavaScript, some back-end languages such as PHP, do a bit of SQL to integrate with databases. Now, if all that is way over your head, that's totally cool because it's my job to get you guys to understand that, and yeah, hopefully be able to bring you up to scratch to be a basic web developer. So a little bit about myself. I've been programming for sort of 18 years. So at the age of sort of 14, 15, I learned some basic HTML. So that's what I'm going to take you guys through. So my brother was at university learning some of this stuff, and I think he needed me to help him out with one of his assignments. So he taught me how to do some HTML. At the time, I kind of liked it, but what I really liked was being able to build something on the computer. So the internet was sort of, for me, was just getting started at that age, and I was visiting websites and that sort of stuff, chatting with friends, and realizing that I could build these websites that I'm looking at was really cool. The web is pretty exciting. There's a lot of great stuff on the internet. So back then it wasn't as exciting, but I guess generally realizing that you can make stuff that you see on the internet it was what really got me passionate about it. So from there, I kind of got the programming bug, so to speak, and used the internet to teach myself how to do some things. I did work experience at a local university where some of the older computer guys there taught me a bit more about programming and bought me a book on Visual Basic. I then went home and downloaded the trial of Visual Basic and went through the examples and taught myself how to build desktop applications, so putting buttons on the screen and you could make an alert pop up and say hello world, and I was like, oh my god, I'm a programmer, I've done it. So obviously, at 15, 16 now, like I got really into it, but I still had a ways to go. So for the next few years, I just kept kind of hacking away, teaching myself some stuff. I tried to build an email client in Visual Basic, which, using a lot of examples and that sort of stuff on the web, like I kind of I learned a lot. I didn't build anything very good. You couldn't use it, but it was like, Lord of the Rings. It's the journey, not the ending. I did some computer classes at school. They're pretty boring, right? Well, mine were. It's probably a lot better now. But I was learning, Excel and Word and touch typing and stuff. I was like, dude, boring. However, we did do a little bit of programming in BASIC, which I loved. What I loved was like kicking ass against the other dudes because I'd done this in my own time. So it was really exciting. Blah, blah, blah. Where am I going with this? So from there, I did go to university. I did a Bachelor of Network Computing where I learned heaps of stuff. Heaps of stuff about computers, about hardware, binary, computer science type stuff. Look, I'll be honest and say a lot of it does not apply to what I ended up doing, but at university, they're teaching a lot of different things. They don't know what you're going to do. So I was going to be a software developer. So the course, probably 20% of the course really appealed to me, but the rest was kind of cool. And I'll talk about this further. I think uni is really cool. In terms of it gives you a really broad knowledge and it's a great natural progression. But I think as a computer programmer, you don't necessarily need to spend 3, 4, 5 years at learning all this different stuff. You can now, using the internet, using not necessarily this, but there are some amazing online resources to be able to get yourself up to scratch. Anyway, I digress. I worked from uni. I worked for some great startups. I worked for some for computer software development companies, learning a lot of different skill sets. I did freelancing myself, which was really cool to bring me up to now. So for the last sort of 4 years, I have, with a few mates, we have started a software development company here in Melbourne, Australia. We develop apps. We develop web applications. We develop like big back-end sort of data infrastructure software. We do the whole thing. We've got a great team. We've got really passionate guys. And sort of I realize I'm in the position now where I think it all started for me back then at the age of 14, 15, learning a little bit of HTML. And it was one of the best things that has ever happened to me, because at that age, like, all I wanted to do was be in a band. Like, I don't know, if I didn't get into computer programming, I really don't know what I would have done. It could have been cool. Maybe I would have been famous. Maybe I would have been doing YouTube tutorials on how to, trash hotel rooms. But anyway, so it really changed the trajectory of my life, and I realized that I've got a passion for helping other dudes go down that path if that's what they dig. And yeah, anyway, so I think no longer are computer programmers just the stereotypical vision of a really fat dude with glasses in a dark room covered in acne laughing like programming on like a black MS-DOS screen. Although, don't worry, they still exist, and I've certainly worked with a few of them. Computer programming and programmers in general are sort of a lot more like normal people, and it's awesome that this is it's always been a stereotype, but it's awesome that people are realizing this. And coders are cool, sort of, kind of, a little bit. I think so. There's a few things that have really helped that over sort of the last 5-10 years. Mobile phones, mobile app development. It's brought like literally into the hands of people the concept of building software and building apps, and people love apps now. Like, sure, they loved desktop software, they liked Microsoft Word, it's a utility, blah blah blah, and they liked games and stuff. But on a phone, it changed everything, I think. And a lot of entrepreneurs jumped on trying to build games, trying to build the next $60 million wacky wheel word, birds you throw pigs at whatever, other pigs. Everyone was trying to make $1 billion building apps, and some did and some didn't. But the point was, I think it's really helped it's opened software development up to a whole new world of people. So I think that's really cool. In the next 10, 15, 20 years, I think it's really super exciting, the possibilities for a software developer. It's being taken out of, working on big mainframe stuff in banks and even just websites or even building apps. Like, now what a software developer will be doing is really interesting. Oh no, an alarm just went off. Ignore that. But what I'm talking about is things like virtual reality. Now that's kind of funny because that's been on the, that's been coming since I was born with movies like Lawnmower Man and stuff. But it really is coming now. So if you guys haven't seen stuff like Oculus Rift, which is this amazing headset and technology about like virtual reality, it's blown my mind. Like, people associated with things like computer games. Now, I'm not even a gamer. The only game I've ever played is Minesweeper that comes with Windows. However, when I used Oculus Rift at just like a little 10-minute demo, it changed my opinion of what's going to happen over the next 10 years. And although like mechanical engineers and hardware dudes build the device, it's software developers that actually create and architect what's happening in the device. And that's just one little example. Other cool stuff that's going on is self-driving cars. So like, software will be controlling cars. It's already happening right now. If you're not aware of it, it blows my mind again. Drones. So drones, little helicopters, or like, basically not necessarily helicopters, but flying devices. So they're being used for stuff like military and paparazzi to chase whatever, Taylor Swift, except there's a lot of wicked applications for drones that's going to come in the next few years. Again, controlled by software. Little wearable stuff. So Fitbits or whatever it is, the watches, iWatch and stuff, having computer technology on our body, in our clothes, the software that you can do there, it's super cool. Like, there's a lot of different applications for that. Also, again, it's a little bit like virtual reality because it just seems so far off and futuristic. But robots, they're already here in a lot of ways. Like the little guys that sweep your floor and bounce off walls and suck up the dust and whatever. You can put your drink on them, possibly. But over the next, 10, 15, 20 years, that's going to be a huge possibility, and it's going to happen. And although robots are wicked and they're built out of hardware, it's software and software developers that build that. So, this is obviously a bit of a stretch from building a web page, how to build a web page 101. But my point and my passion is that software development is a great hobby. It's amazing for anyone to just know a little bit and build a website or whatever it is. But what I'm specifically passionate about is, I guess, I'm sort of talking to myself at 14, 15 years old, where like having that option as a career for me and being able to do something I do and now build a business, and I can't imagine what I would have been doing otherwise, and it's one of the most exciting fields in the world to be involved in. Another huge benefit of software development as a career is you don't need much to get started. The internet is built from HTML, JavaScript, CSS. That's what you're sort of building as a web developer. You've got so many resources out there to learn this stuff. Programmers are on computers every second of the day, kind of. And they're also contributing back to the internet. So forums and tutorial sites and tutorial videos like this one, like there's so much info. It's almost like you need to, it's a skill in and of itself, being able to figure out which information is the good information. And look, I'm hopefully going to help with that. But basically, if you're passionate and you're a self-starter and you know where you want to go, you want to learn to build a website, you want to build websites for local businesses and get paid for it, you can do that yourself. All you need is a computer. All you need is a text editor, some HTML skills, and the internet can help you with that. And I'll certainly, hopefully, try and help you with that. I just think it's amazing. Unlike other professions, if you want to be able to learn how to do it, you can go to uni and all that stuff, but some of the best ways to learn is you yourself, it becoming a hobby. So you yourself going home and hacking it your own thing, building an own personal website, building some tools, building games. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to learn, like myself at 14, 15 years old, trying to build an email client. It's one of the best learning experiences I've ever had. And even now, I encourage the dudes that work for me to have hobby projects out of work. Now, that's kind of tricky because your boss is like, go home and program. But it's more like, it's amazing if you just do something for fun, what you learn. So learning for fun is great. So sure, you might be wanting to make money for doing, websites for local cafes or whatever it is. I don't know why I keep using that example. But you might want to make money. But a great way to learn is to do something that's just fun. So start off with a personal website or a website to catalog your games or a website to organize your lizard collection. That's rare. But yeah, I think you probably get the point. It sort of really, hopefully costs nothing, right? So you need a computer. You're on a computer right now, unless I've made it and I'm being broadcast at like the cinema, which is strange. So you're on a computer, you've got a computer, you just need a text editor. Now I'll take you through that. To learn web programming, you need a web browser. Again, computers come with web browsers, so it's awesome. That's really all you need. Now, computer programming is a whole nother sphere. There's a lot of little things. There's backend, there's different languages like PHP, .NET, C#, Objective-C, all this sort of stuff. And that'll come along as well. But to grasp some basic concepts, I think starting with web development is really cool. And then there's a lot of places you can go from there. So that's kind of it. Like I only had this idea yesterday, so I'm not too sure where this ends up. But my plan is to kind of come up with a structured approach to take you through the concepts of web development. It's not really gonna be like a step-by-step guide on how to build a website. You're gonna have to do some practice and some stuff yourself. But yeah, look, hopefully this helps somebody. Leave comments. Like let's sort of improve this stuff together. Let me know if it's moving too slow, too fast. I'm too handsome and it's overwhelming. That sort of stuff. So yeah, cool. Thanks for watching. Peace.